Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, our dear viewer, for joining us once again on this live show. So today we are hosting a young change maker who is a farmer from Machakos County, and he's going to share with us his journey, even in the field of agriculture, and specifically what he deals with in matters agriculture. I am your host, Dr. Violet Mbiti. So let me welcome to the studio, Emmanuel Mutua. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hi, Daktari.
I'm well. Welcome to the studio and kindly introduce yourself so that the viewer can get to learn more about you.
So, Dr. Violet, thank you for the invite. I'm very humbled to be in this amazing studio. And so let me tell the viewers whom I am. So I'm Emmanuel Mutua Kidoka. I have a confirmation name as, for those who are of Catholic faith, we normally have confirmation name. I'm Emilio, for your information. That is my other name. Yeah, so all those
Okay.
names are mine. I'm Emmanuel, I'm Emilio, I'm Mutua, then my father is Kidoka. That is who, those are my names. I'm a Kenyan youth. Um, also a leader, I'm the chairperson of Kakamaka Youth Group, which is based here in Iata, Machakos County. My youth group is also a member of Machakos County CSO network. It's registered there. Also, I'm a farmer, of course, actually, but I directly or indirectly go to the field because farming is diverse. Uh, there is value chain system in agriculture. So,
Mhm.
yeah, but I'm also doing farming personally. I'm having a farm at this time. Also, I'm a youth activist. Actually, by the year 2020, I was in Kenya Defenders Coalition Academy. So I was in the academy. I pursued what is pursued there in the academy. I was actually mentored on several modules concerning socioeconomic empowerment, um, documentation, and reporting. Yeah, so apart from being an activist, a youth activist, also I'm a leader actually in our sub-county. Actually, I sit in for the sub-county stakeholders forum, which is chaired by our DCC. So of course, I'm a leader.
DCC means.
Yes, so I'm a leader. Of late, I've been sitting for the National Youth Council. You saw it was in the channels, the local and international channel, that we participated very much in the just concluded August elections. Actually, youth of this nation, I need to tell them they did a very good job in maintaining peace, even during and now after election. Actually, it has never been like this peaceful with the Kenyan youth. We know whom we've been before, but I want to comment that the Kenyan youth, apart from we participated in sensitizing the youth, but they have shown that youth cannot only be used to throw stones, they can also act as a vessel to instill peace in a nation and actually in the whole world at large. So, uh, so my area of profession is community development. Nimeona kidogo umeanza kumpea competition. So I want to go back to school and pursue my masters. Yeah, so that is whom I am. in a nutshell. I don't want to say my status. I don't want to disappoint Kenyan chicks. And yeah, so that is who I am.
Okay, okay. So let's get right into it. So
Yeah.
what inspired you to venture into farming?
Okay. Good question. So personally, I've already stated that farming is not a must. You go to the farm and actually farm. There is a very big gap in um, in farming. So personally, I was actually nilipata changamoto seeing the Kenyan youth. Like Kenyan youth have inspired me because now, so when you leave campus and you come back to the field, you like waiting to get that office. I mean, white collar job. And apparently, the number of people who are transiting from colleges and universities ha- are not fitting in the shoes of the posts available for absorbing people. So you see that mismatch. There are a lot of people who look. There are a lot of youth leaving institution coming to jobs, and the jobs they are very minimum. So um, I just sat, I called myself for a meeting, and of course, now having demographically looked at the Kenyan number of youths leaving campus and the position which are available. So I was like, is it a must that you sit in the office or you be employed by the government for you to have a decent life? No. So I said, no, we can we, we can make other ways of making living. So um, I sat down and I looked upon the avenues in agriculture that youth can venture in, and one of those avenues is participating in value addition. What do I mean? So, like for example, there's a program that is being run by Machakos County and Nyeri, yeah, Nyeri to be precise, called the Aquaculture Development (ABDP). That is the Initiatives for Aquaculture Business Development Program, and actually the mastermind of this program, they had youth uh, at their honor, because Kenyan youth, actually it's not Kenyan youth, but in Africa there's that analogy of youth don't have rights to have land. You will agree with me that above 75% of Kenyan youth don't have, not even 75. Like that, it's almost to 90 plus percent of Kenyan youth don't have title deeds for any land. Yeah, you'll agree with me. Or in case you don't agree with me, it's good that you let me know. Ukuje unikatie shamba kidogo. So having that in mind, Daktari, you see that you going to the farm, you like, for example, the family's land and demanding sometimes this exchange. So I looked upon this program, and I when they were looking for youth champions across the country, actually, personally, I was like, this was the chance I was waiting for. Yeah, because now the way this program has been doctored, like they've taken that the youth, they want to empower the youth. That, for example, you want to start a fish joint cafe. That's that's a value chain for fish. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So you can now procure the fish from the farmer. Of course, our Buddhists, our parents, they have their owners of that land where the fish ponds and those styles are situated, right? So, like now you can now bridge the gap between the farmer and the final consumer of the fish, right? So this is actually mimi niliingia na miguu na mikono everything because now um, you know uh, owing to the fact that we don't have access to our very own land whereby we can practice that intensive farming. So now this program, I was actually coming to show you what this program actually has brought up and why I'm sinking inside with even my shoes. So this program has actually it's assisting the youth to, for example, you want to begin a fish joint, and like fish, it's very highly perishable. So now it will assist us as a youth to purchase. Actually, they will procure for us the deep freezers. The cost of like a decent deep freezer, the Kenyan cost now it's not less than 100 Gs. That is 100,000. And a Kenyan youth, and then you tell them now purchase this, and that is just a one commodity you require in this actually a fish value chain. You need mode of transport, you know. So personally, I sat down when this program came and imagined how a brand like Galitos began. Galitos began just um, uh, ilikuwa fikira tu kwa mtu, then akafikiria about it, then we even have Galitos across Kenya. And it's a brand. So now that Kenyan youth, they just need a land or two, just be somewhere whereby now they can maneuver their own life. Having a tip to initiate an economic uh, way of living. I mean, something that can stimulate income in our day-to-day life. That's all what Kenyan youth need. Because now, like these are our parents and these are the people all died. Like for example, someone can just take a logbook to bank and get a loan. But now the Kenyan youth owing to the hata fuliza wanakunyima so tano, so kupata capital ya kuanzisha kitu kama fusion ama kufungua tu cafe unapata ni ngori. It's a problem. So this is a program currently I'm running. I'm the chair of that group, and the program has given that program to us as a group, and actually we are pursuing the thing. We like 60%. We are gone. Actually, we're waiting for the procurement of those gadgets. We've already submitted our proposal, and yeah, soon and very soon, I think will be source of employment for a big number of kids, not less than 10 in one fish joint. Because there is transport, logistics from the farmer to the fish joint, and upon beginning with one, opening another one, and another one. You can imagine the number of youth that will be directly be employed from the fish that is being farmed our very own homes, which we don't have say in those lands. And you see, we still doing farming. If you like, if you'll agree with me. Then also we do fish pond digging. Actually, like. You might be wanting, you might be in a position to do fish farming, but here in East Africa, the climate is a bit tricky, and there are those environmental conditions that favor fish farming. So for anyone who is willing to, who has access to Figaling and they want to be a decent fish pond, they can always contact us. We we design and dig for you a decent fish pond. Yeah. So for your information, um, a good fish pond uh, has standard measurement of depth of 1.5 and a width of 15 and length of 20 meters. So it's good that you know. And there are people who dig very deep. You just call excavator or forklift. You end up digging a fish pond of like 3 to 4, 5 meters. You know, at the depth.
Emmanuel, yeah, so I think there is a network issue there, but you heard for yourself. Emmanuel engages in fish farming, and he started it off with his youth group, and now he's heading Machakos. He's leading Machakos County in matters making aquaculture, increasing awareness with regard to aquaculture. So not many people engage in fish farming. You find that most of the people now engage in maybe different types of farming, but it is a delight to see that that Emmanuel and his team decided that they would like to be in the value chain of fish farming and be able even to deliver, to act as the in-between between the farmer and even the consumer. So the other thing that that is coming out clearly even from the discussion, he has mentioned that what is impeding young youth from engaging in agriculture is lack of land. And that is very true, because you find that the land that is available is owned by our parents. So you find that the youth don't have any land. And even this reminds me of a time like 5 years ago. There is an article that I had written in the newspaper, which was published by the Star, where we're encouraging, we were speaking to the government, and I was telling them that there is need for them to allocate land to youth so that they can engage in farming, because personally I believe that farming itself is one of the instruments that can be used to alleviate poverty. And the case study for that was Egypt. You found that the government of Egypt allocated land to the youth, and because of that, the youth there prospered. Even universities opened up in that particular area where they were given the land, because it was in a desert region. So the youth took advantage of that opportunity and prospered. So it's a message even to the Kenyan government, because even with the current government that is in place, that is led by His Excellency William Ruto, for them to also think about this, because you find that the government owns land in mass, but yet you find that it is idle land. So if it is possible for them to provide the subsidies, to provide the input and all the resources that are needed, and provide even capital itself, you will find that these youth are going to prosper. Because personally, I believe the kazi mtaani, you know, it's like it was just covering. It's like even if you are someone who has graduated from university, you are still going to do the same job as someone who has not yet even gone to university. And you see, there is no equality that was taken into consideration even when they were coming up with the program. Okay? Because someone who has gone to university, has cleared, has gotten a certificate, and now they are being told that they go and sweep the streets of Nairobi or whichever region that they are in. So it wasn't a well thought out program, because it just lumped all the youth together. It didn't disaggregate the youth so as to know what kind of programs they are going to give to the different categories of youth. Okay, yeah. So I think that even what Emmanuel is saying is really going to enable other youth to also engage in fish farming. So come to the studio, Emmanuel. You had disappeared for a minute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Actually, my router has misbehaved. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You may
You know,
continue. You may continue.
yeah. So I was like urging that if Kenyan youth we could just wake up and come to full realization of that, our parents are not yet ready to permit us to use their very own land, and just take that as a challenge and act on it and venture in the value chain of not even fish farming only, but also, there is this whole issue about cereals. I don't know, National Cereals and Produce Board have actually give tenders to the Kenyan people, and of course, we know under the Procurement Act that 30% that is given for marginalized groups, that is the PWDs, women and youth. If the government could now be ready to act upon full actualization of Article 55 of the Constitution, could now give the Kenyan youth these tenders to supply the cereals to the National Cereals and Produce Board. We've seen what the government has been doing. Actually, it was just last year when you saw a wool MP supplying it ni yote ama hiyo ilikuwa called there. Then apparently did an economic crime for us, and you see how the law is taking too long to just put these people behind the bus. But if now that we have new leadership, so I'm urging the Kenya Kwanza government now to take this as a challenge, and if they mean good for the Kenyan youth, they need to actualize that Article 55 of the Constitution that keeps the government on this whole issue about Kenyan youth. If they mean good and they want to empower youth, they need to actually put it as a regulation, or actually they put an they legislate a law that will bar these big fishes of the state to do those procurement to the national entity. Yeah. So otherwise, the other thing I mentioned earlier on that I'm doing farming. I'm blessed and have approximately an acre plus of a land, and I farm greens, I farm spinach, I farm terere. I wish I could have in my gallery. I have some several. I think if I will be having an opportunity, I will share with you some of the things that I do farm. I farm colors. I farm tomatoes, and sometimes when I have plenty of the time just to be around, nalima mishiri, but it's a bit hectic. You know, French beans need a lot of input, that is fertilizers and stuff, and you know the Kenyan economy is not so favorable to us youth. Yeah, so and then there is this other issue of water, which is a major challenge. Yeah, like now, where I farm for the couple of 3 to 4 weeks, imagine Abuja like once in a week. As we talk, Yata Canal doesn't have water. Even past the treatment plant, that is like 5 kilometers. I'm 5 kilometers down the water treatment um, stuff. Yeah, so there's no water for the last like 3 weeks, and you can imagine if I had French beans in my farm, yeah, they would be long gone. So beautiful. I think both county and national government, you know, mwananchi ni mmoja. So if they can combine their priorities and their expenditure on just one thing, like water. In one physical year, they can be done. If the county and national prioritize one thing at a time, so it's a major challenge. Yeah, so that is majorly what I do. Alongside other things, you know, I'm also part of the community, and I'm having a lot of engagement with the Kenyan youth. Yeah, so I think where you need clarity, you can always tell me.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
So, have you been practicing like now the farming?
Okay. Personally, since I left college, that is some almost 5 to 6 years ago, I didn't just sit down or start stomaching. I went there. Then apparently, when my dad passed on due to cancer, that was the year 2016, and being a good boy, he had blessed me with that piece of land that I do farm. So I didn't see the need just to go to the market and just uh, start kukula zile vitu vijana tunakula siku hizi. So I thought
Yeah.
like I can just take my time and put the energy that I'm blessed with, and the youth are blessed with a lot of energy. And
Yeah.
can believe you me that I do supply. I've been supplying magnitude substance in the local market. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you use?
Sorry.
How much capital did you start with?
Um, you're not so clear, Daktari.
Oh, I'm saying,
Yes, yes. Now I can hear you.
how much money did you have, or how much capital uh, did you use to start your business of farming?
Good question. Like initially, I was working with another organization, and I had my contract that was running for like 30,000. It was like 35,000 the contract. Then I said, with 35,000, I think I can. You know, in farming, if you want to do like, you just need a machine piping. So I did piping and machines. in my farm. Nilichimbia pipes chini and used now the balance to purchase seedlings. Personally, nikajiwekea kwa nursery, then yeah, that is how I entered farming. Yes.
Ah,
Hivyo tu.
awesome, awesome, awesome. So, are there any challenges that you have encountered so far?
Yeah, 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 and a number. I've just mentioned the challenge of water. You, you've just heard me mention. Even
Yeah.
as I talk, there is no water in the water that I normally use, and I traverse Kenya a lot. Um, I traverse Kenya a lot, and this is not a challenge here in Machakos. Uh, yeah, I've been to Kitui, I've been to Makueni, I've been moving around. I've been to Kisumu just the other time. Yeah, so I know water is a challenge as far as farming is concerned. You can't do farming. Actually, farming ile ya kutoa vitu shambani, cereals, the
Mm,
veggies, and you can't do it without water. How will you do? So I think
mm,
it's one of the major challenges. Then the other one is about actually finance. You can't utatoa wapi pesa ya mafuta in case now you want to pump water.
mm,
You know,
mm,
mvua, rain now. Rain has been a challenge.
mm,
If rain is a challenge now, that's why you just heard me mention that if the county and the national government can work for the common good of not even youth, the common mwananchi, and just tackle the issue of water once and for all. I think the issue about land na wasee kupea vijana land, I think that will come later. But what has been a challenge then, the next one is the finance. Kufuliza, help wanakudai and uko CRB hata uwezi mshwari hawezi kukupea, you know it's a major challenge. Then the other challenge ni hiyo ya land. Youth doesn't um, if I'm born and raised here in Kenya, and hata kama I've been moving to the other parts of, other countries, I can't hesitate to say that land and youth are two different things in different WhatsApp groups. So I think we need to do away with those cultural beliefs that state that these young people um, need to be given time. Mzee anaona akikupea land, it's like you'll sell, and you know those awkward, backward beliefs. I think they should be not at this 21st century. They shouldn't be occurring. So land, I just mentioned land, water, and financial muscle are the major challenges towards farming. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah.
So, I'd like you to address a fellow youth, maybe who's watching this show and they are unemployed and
Okay.
they don't know what to do. Some of them maybe have just are just graduating from high school and they don't know what to do with their life.
Come
So
on.
I'd like you to speak to them and just give a word of encouragement. Can you hear me now? Okay, it seems like the network is having issues. Is going to join in a few. So you've had for yourself the challenges that Emmanuel has highlighted, like there's need for capital, there's need for water, there's need for land. And if the government, the national government now tackles it, it's going to help, it's going to encourage more youth to engage in agriculture. You know, sometimes you find that the national government is always saying that the youth should engage in agriculture, but they are not putting in place like now the infrastructure to make agriculture favorable. And that is why you found that over the years here, even in Kenya, you find that most people have been selling their land so that they can engage in real estate. Okay, so because you find that even the government is very quick in signing policies, but when it comes also to implementation, to ensure that the policies that have been put in place with regards to agriculture, they have not, it's like implementation is very slow. Okay, so it is very essential for the government to note what Emmanuel is saying. So Emmanuel, so as we are concluding, I wanted you to address fellow youth who's given up on life. Two, the ones who have just graduated from college or from high school and they don't know what to do. Maybe their parents are telling them to engage in farming, but they are saying farming for what? Eh? So I would like you to speak to them and as to why they should why they should engage in farming, or just a word of motivation or encouragement. So over to you, Emmanuel.
Good. So, to my fellow youth watching me, in this state and other states who are watching, um, we need to understand that the white collar jobs we've been getting up and aspiring to have, they are very limited. And whenever now you just like graduated from a campus and you have at least somewhere whereby you can do farming, it pays. It pays. It just pay. You only then need to come and accept the fact that we can't all fit in those government offices. So farming, is this matter of kujitoa, kujitoma. We are blessed with energy and time. The amount of time we are using in social media, video, watching those funny stuff there, and the energy we are having. Because I think we're using the time and the energy we are having as a young people, I think you're good to go. Pesa sasa inakufuata hapo sasa. Yeah, so um, utilize the energy that you're having. Ujana ni kama moshi. You won't be that energetic forever. So um, to my application before they call you for that interview, at least have somewhere where by the end of the day you are sure that you'll get your punch, your thou in a day. So personally, I've tried it; it works. So then alongside Kenyan youth, I know they don't have a problem. Just talk, live well with your parents, and whenever you have something you want to actualize in that farm of our parents, hmm, having that good relationship with our parents, getting a small piece of land to exercise farming, I think would be a big deal. So Kenya youth, we just need to sober up, live well with the parents and the community, so that now when you want like to do farming now, you see, mzazi hatakuwa na shida sana ya kukwambia now you can have that acre of land or two before you get your permanent employment. You can at least earn your living. Yeah. So not all needs uh, of Kenyan youth, or not even Kenyan youth, can be met by our parents, especially when we are now done with academics. Muzazi now saying like, I want, telling your parent, I want 500, I want to refill my, I mean, to purchase data package for, I know, it won't work. Yeah, so we need to think big and accept the fact that we all want fit in those government offices. Yeah, like that, I think that is done.
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Thank you so much
yes,
for the word. Even Unique Ombati is saying that she is following the conversation. All right, and yeah. So Emmanuel, I want to say thank you for your time to grace this set, and I wish you the best in all your endeavors.
thank you.
And tutapatana mali si upatana.
Yeah, well. Let us work for the community. Yeah,
Yes, yes. Even as we go and empower the community, because
yeah,
that is where
true.
we usually meet.
Yeah, true.
Uh, I'll see you. I'll see you soon.
So, see you soon.
All right.
Thank you for the invite. See you soon.
All right. So, viewer, I want to say thank you for taking your time to join this show. I hope you've learned a thing or two from this discussion. And it is my hope that you are going to apply the lessons learned, even in applying it to your daily life, all right? So I'll see you next time, even as we host another amazing guest. Asante.